It's easier coming in after a win. How's the week been in here?
Yeah, look, obviously there's a lot of optimism and positivity after a win. It's important. You know, we went for a period of 5 weeks where we didn't get that nourishment, and it gives us a great chance to celebrate, recognise some of the things that we really love in our game and some of the growth that we're starting to see.
Tom Sparrow pulled up okay, reasonably okay anyway.
Yeah, look, he has. You know, obviously it was a pretty nasty sort of incident, especially a pretty confronting one, especially for family and teammates and everyone that loves Tom. But the pleasing thing is he's back around the footy club. He's feeling healthy and obviously in the protocols. So he'll work his way through them. But initially it's good signs.
You said it's confronting for some of the younger boys. They maybe haven't experienced something like that before. Do you address it with them this week, or have you addressed it?
No, look, we haven't. What we loved about our team on the weekend was the amount of care shown on field. With players around him, but then obviously when he was on the stretcher, there's sort of things that you look for as a footy club, the care and support for one another, and is a much loved figure within the playing group. So to see that support, and then obviously to first and foremost make sure he's healthy and his family's in a good spot, that's the most important thing.
So what do you expect from him what has he done this week in terms of training? Not limited because of the concussion, or is his body hurting? Where's he at?
Yeah, look, he's only just got back into the footy club today. He's had some time away, he's rested. He goes, obviously with the protocols, it's initially making sure he's clear and feeling fine and limiting how many headaches he's having, and he hasn't had any of that. So all the good signs, all the indications early are really good and positive, but he'll have to work through those protocols, and we certainly won't be taking any risk with Tom.
What's the latest with Jake Lever?
Yeah, obviously he had some real inflammation around the sheath in the ankle. He's had an ongoing, problems with his ankle, probably for now 12 to 18 months. He's had a couple of surgeries, but this is something that's fairly minor. He had an injection into that earlier in the week, and hopefully that'll settle things down. We're not sure how long it's going to be, but what it does give us a chance to do is to make sure we get him right. We certainly won't be bringing him back early. He'll miss this week, and then we'll assess it from there. So he's in a pretty positive mindset, but it's a matter of getting on top of the irritation.
Is there a thought to maybe shut him down for the season, just to give him a rest?
Yeah, we're not in that space as a footy club. We're 6 weeks out. We want to continue to build, what winning looks like within our four walls, what our team looks like, and continue to not waste any time. I've said it all along. So the easy thing for anyone to do in this sort of situation is to say, it's been a tough year, shut you down. That's not the mindset we're in. We're in the mindset of making sure we give every player the opportunity to get better and to see our team and club grow.
What about Johnson and Petty? I think they're both listed as tests this week. Where are they at?
Yeah, look, they're both, Aiden's worked his way through ankle surgery and will definitely come back and be available. Harrison's working his way through the concussion protocol, so he's had 2 weeks out. We're really confident he's going to play. But he's missed now with the bye, and obviously the Gold Coast only playing a quarter. It's pretty much 4 weeks of footy and coming off concussion. So, we'll look to play him in the VFL this week if he gets through everything. We want to set him up for success and make sure he's really right to go. So, 4 weeks out is a fair period of time. So, he'll get through training today, and we'll look to play him in the VFL this week. Just
on Jake Melksham, the form he's in every week seems to get better. Is it hard not to want to just hand him a contract for next year?
Oh, we'd love to. And that's something that we need to work through as a footy club, and we'll work through a little bit closer towards the back end of the year. But in his current form, we'd love to see Jake go on and play. He's someone that's giving our forward line the experience and the understanding and the smarts that we need. And he's continuing to get better. So we'll sit down, have a mature conversation like we have for the last few years. And, first off, the player's got to want to play and commit to a full season of footy. And as a footy club, we'd love to see him go on.
What's it like for you as a coach who's seen him probably go through so many injuries as well, to see him in this form?
Yeah, it's amazing. I've coached Jake since, right back in his Essendon days when he first got drafted, and to see him evolve as a player has been, one of the great joys. He's probably playing his best footy and his smartest footy in the position he's in. It hasn't come easy. He's had a lot of little soft tissue niggles along the way. And I think that's what, you need to work through as a player, is that when you've had those type of niggles, are you up for the demands of AFL footy year in, year out? And I'm sure that's the question he continues to ask himself. But when you look at him play and the joy that he's having and the fun he's having in his current form, there's no reason why he wouldn't go on.
Has it caught you by surprise? Like, I think he's the oldest player on your list, just come off an ACL injury. Now he's got 14 goals in 3 games.
Yeah, look, it hasn't, based on what we saw in 2023, and obviously his form he had then, and then obviously had the ACL, but then his commitment to get back through that challenge and come back, middle of the year last year and have the form they had at the back end of last year. He's become a very, very good player and a very important player for the Melbourne Footy Club.
There were some reports about Bailey Fritsch possibly being on the trade table. What do you make of those?
Yeah, I'm not sure where they came from. That's certainly not the case. I've spoken a lot about our group and how we're transitioning, and we've been able to do that through the draft in the last 3 years, and we've been pretty heavy at going to the draft. But part of our transition into the next, team that we want to be is we need experience, and Bailey's a big part of our future. And he's a big part of what's successful like for us moving forward. So that's certainly not the path we're on. We're on the path of attracting as many players to our footy club to come to the Melbourne Footy Club and want to be a part of it, and keep our senior players who are really important to growing the younger players to get our next team. This isn't about tipping players out and bringing new players in. This is about solidifying the group we've got and adding to it because we want success as quickly as possible.
12 months ago, there was plenty of trade rumours, speculation around Melbourne. Do you feel like you're in a better place now, 1 year on? Do you expect less trade requests or reports about trades?
Oh, look, we're not sure, what would happen in that space. We're in a mindset of getting better. And at the end of the year, we'll sit down and work through all of what that looks like. We feel as a footy club, we're very stable, both off the field and now on the field from 12 months ago. So we feel like we're in a really, really strong position to make some really strong and good decisions moving forward about how we get to where we want to as quick as we can.
But you would say you're in a better place than 12 months ago?
Oh, look, 100%. This team, results aren't everything, but certainly where we're growing as a club and a team, we're stable, and the team's starting to really progress together.
Just on Carlton, obviously they're not in their best form. I guess you were sort of there at the start of the year and the pressure that Michael Voss is under. Do you have some sympathy or, any feeling towards him at the moment?
I think, as a coach, you sit here and, that's part of the job. There's going to be times when you are under pressure, and, we're no different to where Carlton are at right now from a ladder position. And I'm sure both clubs are looking at the opportunity that the next 6 weeks hold. And I'm sure Voss is in a similar mindset to myself, is how do we get better? How do we improve? How do we show progression? And that's why this game's a really important game for both clubs. And I think you're going to see a pretty fierce contest come Saturday night.
Do you feel like this is a real gettable game for you?
Oh, we don't go in there with that mindset. We go into every game thinking we're capable of winning. And that's what you do. You work your way through the week, and no matter who you're playing, you think you can win games of footy. And that's what we'll be going after. We want to try and get some results for our footy club, but as importantly, we want to show that we're progressing.
No doubt Carlton probably have the same mindset. So where do you see their biggest threats?
Clearly, they're a great stoppage team. They certainly score heavily, in that phase of the game and that initial play period. So that's one area of the game that they are strong in. They've got really good stoppage players that have big impact in games of footy. And if you give Kerno and the likes the opportunity forward to the ball with good supply, the night can become pretty hard. So we've got to make sure that we get that part of our game to a really high level and give ourselves the best opportunity.